Hello and welcome to our second webinar on data quality. We'll wait for 1 minute to allow all the attendees to join us. Okay, now we are ready to start. Hi all again, and welcome to the How Explainable AI Empowers Complex Supply Chains with 100% Data Accuracy webinar. I am Matteo Carloni. I work as a sales manager in Rulex, specializing in projects related to data quality in complex supply chains. Together with me, there is Fabio Rivieccio, senior sales engineer with a really deep experience in data quality and machine learning algorithms. Hi, Fabio.
Hi, Matteo, and hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here.
So let's start to introduce the topic.
When it comes to data cleansing, companies usually create, maintain, and validate large sets of rules manually, and this approach is nothing but tedious, time-consuming, and often inefficient. Today, we're going to present how the application of explainable AI turned out to be a game changer in a real scenario related to data cleansing in a big consumer good company belonging to the Fortune 500. First of all, let's start to define what we intend when we say explainable AI. And to do this, let's start with what is not explainable. All the conventional machine learning algorithms, such as neural networks or random forests, just produce a mathematical function that leads to a black box predictive model. The fact is that no one can understand those math functions, and this is why they are called black boxes. An explainable AI instead works in a completely different way. It generates conditional logic rules that predict the best decision choice in a self-explanatory way, accessible to all the professionals involved in that specific process. And here is the connection with the real use case scenario we are presenting today. In a complex supply chain, where planning decisions are crucial and can have really high impact on the business, what if such decisions are taken based on dirty data? In addition, would you take such crucial decisions based on suggestions coming from an algorithm that does not give an account of the way it came to that suggestion? Now, let me leave the floor to Fabio, who will give you a practical example about what explainable AI can do when applied to data cleansing.
Thank you, Matteo. And yes, you're right, XAI can be a real game changer when it comes to data quality. But before getting there, I'd like to introduce the real scenario I dealt with together with the Rulex team in the last months. So we have a customer, as you mentioned, a large CPG company, which started a project to improve data quality. They approached the project with about 170,000 matlocks in scope, scaling up to more than 700,000 records, including data related to BOM, recipe, source list, and PIR. And then they define more than 1,000 rules to be applied in 4 different flavors, one for each material type. Their SMEs tried to tackle the project by implementing and checking the rules via spreadsheets so that they could own the entire data quality process, and that would be good. But The problem was that the spreadsheet exploded with so much data to handle. Sometimes they were suffering hangs, some other times the tool simply crashed, leading to long-lasting effort only to tame a small set of the whole data in scope. So to tackle this issue, they reached to SQL developers. This way, they could handle a much larger set of data without any flaw. Problem was that when you go for the support of a developer, a series of different issues arises. So you have to match calendars and properly communicate the rules to be implemented, plan a validation session, or wait to receive the report from the developer, and maybe refine the initial rule and then start the whole process again. Overall, it is a lot of time required to maintain the rules, to implement them, and to validate the results. And last but not least, developer time is not for free. This was more or less the scenario when we jumped in. So after carefully listening to the customer, who detailed all the issues already mentioned, we proposed as a possible solution our heuristic rule parsing workflow. This workflow takes two main inputs: the customer data, directly extracted from their ERP, and the customer rules. Those rules are rewritten as if-then sentences in a simple spreadsheet file. So this is an important step, and allow me to stress it. With this workflow, we are using a spreadsheet which can be edited by the customer themselves and which serves as a direct input for our workflow. For example, if we want to deem as invalid all those finished goods for which the MRP type should be externally planned, then we'll write a rule in the spreadsheet file which reads as if marcy.dismm not in x0 when marcy.mtart equals to z001, that is finished good, then invalid. The supply data are then checked against the input rules, finally resulting in a report, which is the output of the workflow. Following this example, the report will show all those materials which are valid with respect to MRP type rule, those which are invalid, and those for which the rule is not applicable, for instance, because they are semi-finished good. This is just an example, and rules can be as refined as needed. But the big plus here is that the customer completely owns the set of rules. They can change them and straight away check the results in a closed loop. Our heuristic rule parsing workflow proved to be the main enabler leading to a faster time to result. No more dev time needed, no more hangs due to the wrong tool to do the job. The customer was happy. But with time, we understood that maybe we could still help in some other way, because we realized the customer was struggling with frequent refinements to the rules due to the fact that a lot of exceptions were there. While validating the rules, they realized the rules should take into account many possible versions, many possible flavors, maybe related to some specific plant, or maybe related to the presence or absence of a certain vendor, or to different version of the material. Again, the complexity was definitely impacting on the time devoted to the cleaning task, still requiring a tolerable yet considerable effort from the SMEs. To manage such situations involving logic-based rules with lots of exceptions, here at Rulex, we developed an innovative workflow which is powered by our proprietary XAI algorithm. The workflow is called Robotic Data Correction, RDC for the friends, and allows a completely new approach to data quality. I think we will describe in depth this approach in a future webinar, but for now, I'd like to briefly explain you how does it work. Leveraging our state-of-the-art machine learning algorithm, RDC allows to automatically learn the rules from the data. This means that the customer only has to indicate which are the fields to be cleaned and decide which are those fields according to which the data should be cleaned. For instance, we could know that the correct value for the procurement type can be derived from the material type, from the plant ID, and from the presence of multiple vendors for the materials, and so on. That's it. Based on this information, RDC can derive the rules from the data and more, also supply a possible corrective value. So in the end, SME time is only needed to review the proposed correction and accept the ones he or she thinks are the most appropriate. The process can now iterate, and the rule set is progressively refined based on the corrections supplied by the SMEs. At a steady state, a stable rule set is learned, and by applying it, the correct data values are provided as the main output of the RDC workflow, and the SMEs can then review the clean data and bulk import them back into their ERP. So, in the right scenario, RDC has a great impact, allowing to shift from an old approach consisting in creating, maintaining, and applying the rules to a completely new and innovative process consisting simply in reviewing and accepting proposals. So the project is still ongoing, but I think some of the benefit we provided can already be stated. Firstly, we made possible a broadening of the scope of the project. When we met, the customer was trying to implement less than 100 rules, only managing finished good. In less than a month, this has grown to more than 500 rules, also managing semi-finished good and raw and pack materials. Secondly, the heuristic rule parsing workflow impacted with more than 50,000 changes applied to the production data. Also, our innovative RDC approach allowed the customer to almost clean completely the procurement type data. And this task only required a series of small working sessions with the customers, I think not even reaching a whole day if we sum up all the sessions elapsed. And finally, no time is now required for the support by the tech guys, as now the business people are the owners of the end-to-end process. So this ends our quick explanation on this real use case scenario. I want to thank you all for your attention, and thanks, Matteo, for inviting me to this session.
Thank you, Fabio. It was really interesting, and we really hope you enjoyed it. Here you can see our contact details. Please feel free to reach out in case you have questions.